Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now last episode we automated the production of most of our thermal expansion fluids. So we have the blazing pyrotheum, cryotheum, all of that fun stuff now being automated, and also finished all of the pieces for our yellow research as well. That advanced plating was the last thing that we were missing. So over the course of those last two episodes, we have now pretty much got everything automated and ready to go for the next tier that we need to start unlocking. Now, you can see behind me, I went ahead and built a whole bunch more researchers. I had another dozen green researchers because that had become a bottleneck for us as well for the unlocking that we need to do. So now that that's done, and I've let things run for a while, and we have a whole bunch of research in hand, today's the day that we're going to start unlocking those mega machines, the big multi-block structures that are going to upgrade our ore production and processing. So, with no further ado, let's dive right in. So, as I mentioned, the main thing that we are focused on today is ore processing and getting our infinity drill up and running. So, I want to go ahead and start with the infinity drill here, because this is going to be how we do ore production from now on. That's going to give us basically limitless resources. And I think I have enough research saved up now that I can go ahead and do the tier 2 as well. There we go. So this will give us the next tier of ores, which will be extremely useful for us. This is only tier 1. This should give us tier 2 as well. So now we can produce a whole lot more ores infinitely, basically, without having to actually go to a single location and set the drill. Now, we also have been lagging a little bit behind here in setting up these multi-block structures. So we're going to go ahead and unlock all of these items for our multi-block crusher, and as well as the arc furnace, which is how we are going to be smelting these when they come out the other end. So all of that research is now done. So the last thing we're going to unlock here is we want to finish our nuclear craft quest here. We had gotten the production of our nuclear craft ores done in the previous episode, but we hadn't actually gone through, smelted those, and used them yet. So let's go ahead and drop that into our pulverizer. That's going to go into our redstone furnace and give us a whole bunch of boron. Great. So that was a 6-to-1 ratio. Pretty good, but we're going to do even better today. So that unlocks our nuclear craft ingots, and that gets us ready for our nuclear age. Now, before we dive into the nuclear age, we of course are going to want to set up our ore processing first so that we are ready for our uranium and our thorium. So we need to look for our infinity miner core. Now, it looks like the drill components that we've already made, we use to make an infinity miner. So we need 9 of those to make one infinity miner core. So let's go ahead and do this. So with this drill in hand, we can now make our infinity miner capsule. Just like everything else in this pack, we do have one of those. So the recipe is relatively straightforward. We do need to make ourselves a multi-block capsule base again, which I think we have enough modularium for. Oh, we need to make more machine casings first. Okay, great. So we're going to have barely enough modularium for that. This is another one of those things that we really should just be automating once we have the alloy, or maybe I'll do that. And then we need to make ourselves a core sample drill. And for that, we're just missing some steel fences, I think. Let's make a couple of extras because I know we're going to make more than one of these. So there we go, like that. And then I think that should be about it. I think we have, oh, nope, aluminum sheet metal is the other thing that we are missing here. So let's go ahead and make ourselves our aluminum sheet metal. And again, we're going to make a little extra. Hang on to that and make ourselves, there we go, our infinity miner capsule. Wonderful. So we need to find a place to put this down. And I think maybe closer to our new base would be a better place for this, like we've been doing with the oil production, because we do need to run power to it, and we're going to need the high voltage power. So I think the cables coming right off of there is ideal. So this is a 3x3 structure, 3x3x3, I should say. And so I think I can put it down like right over here. Oh, I also want to get stuff into our mining facility up there, though. Well, I think I think I'm right on this. I think I'm going to put it right over here, and then I can pipe my items back through our conduits. So let me go ahead and put it down right here and see what happens. Right there. Okay, looking pretty sharp. Okay, but we don't want to stop with a tier 1 infinity miner. We want to go ahead and unlock the tier 2. Well, we've already unlocked the tier 2, but we want to use it. And that means we need to create a mining drone. Now, mining drones are a little frustrating to make, but we are going to try and set up as much of this for autocrafting as we can. So what we need to do here is automate the creation of these pieces of the puzzle wherever possible. So we're going to work our way through this chain. So solar panels have a lot of dependencies, and we're already making some of these back at our other factory, but we need to basically teach it the recipe for solar panel pieces. So I'm going to teach it how to do glass and iron as the first stage, but we still need a source of glass, which I think we can get off of our sand. So we're going to add that as well. First things first, though. Let's go ahead and grab our cards and teach it the recipe for a mirror. So let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Okay, so there's the mirror recipe. Put that there. And I think we can put this in here with no problem, and it'll be able to create that. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is teach it how to make a solenoid. So recipe solenoid, like so, and we teach it that. Now all of this is assuming that each of these items can be crafted in a normal crafting table. I might have to set up more crafting sequential fabricators for this, which I don't really love, but is the way that you have to do this. We're next going to set up copper coil blocks, and for that we need LV wire coils. So we'll teach it treated sticks. That's an easy recipe to learn, like so. And from that, we will also teach it how to make copper coil blocks with wire. That's assuming we have wire on hand, which I think we're making, but we need to hook up to our system. So that's going to be a problem. Although, you know, we have enough copper, we can just do it this way. Let's just do this. So we're going to teach it this recipe because we don't actually need to cut those up. Okay. And then from that, we should be able to make our copper coil blocks. Okay, so that's 3 of those elements already added in addition to the 2 we've got. So we've got 4 more slots on this crafter. Let's see here what else we can do. The redstone servo, that's going to be an important one that we need to teach it. So recipe, redstone servo, and add our card in there. Okay. And is there anything else for the solar panel that we need to teach it? Mirrors? No, I think that's everything. So now we can just teach it the solar panel itself. Okay. There. So that's enough stuff that we should be able to make a solar panel. So let's go ahead and also teach it how to make our machine frames because we use those a lot. So I'm going to teach it the basic recipe for steel mechanical components now that we already have put together a place where we were getting steel plates automated. That was like 2 or 3 episodes ago, I think. So let's go ahead and add that as a recipe here. That should be straightforward. And then based on that, we should be able to make our machine frame real easily. So let's grab that. Okay, and try and teach it those recipes. Okay, let's see if we can request one of those. Okay, let's see if we can't get this to craft a machine frame. Looks like it has everything it needs. And it should just take a second. Ah, that's why it was stuck. It didn't have a place to insert it. So I've added a storage drawer for these various components, and now it can make them and store them because this is hooked up to this bank with an item interface. So that should work great. Okay, so the only things left to automate here are going to be our daylight sensor and our Constantin gear. We already have the redstone engineering block automated on the other side of the map. So let's save these last couple of recipes real quick here to the new crafting interface that I just set up. daylight sensor. Okay, that's a recipe that we can teach it. Don't know why that went away. Let's try that again. There we go, daylight sensor. And then this needs to learn how to make a constant in gear. Great, and with that, we should now be able to teach it the recipe for a whole drone. Great. Let's put all of these in here. And now, if we did that right, it should work for not just the machine frame, but for all of the pieces of this puzzle. Okay, let's see if we can now craft a set of drones. It looks like it knows how to do everything. So if we click craft, we should see it slowly show up here. Okay, so that time it worked. It turns out that the mining drone actually has to be manufactured in a sequential fabricator. We couldn't do it inside of our normal crafting table. So that's important to know. Let's go ahead and make 6 more sets of 8 here. And in a few short seconds, we should see those show up right here, assuming nothing is screwed up. Perfect. All right, so we should now have a complete stack, yes we do, of mining drones. So we can use those inside of our infinity miner now. So we can go down here and find a spot to put those in. I'm not sure where those go. I assume they go in here. I think that's right. Okay, and that's one input. Don't they? Yeah, it has a second input. I'm not sure why. Let's see here. We're missing our fluid input on this. I think I'm going to make myself a bunch more logic cables here, and then I will use that to run these off of one of my existing networks, so I don't have to basically create a whole separate logic network. Maybe I'll do it right off the end of that one that's up there. Okay, so there are cables ran over. I also brought our HV energy cable over here. Now we just need to create a card for our fluid, which is the Zephirium, right? Right. Zephirium, put that into this card, and then we need a fluid exporter onto there. And nope, not export all fluids, export Zephirium. Okay, and that should, in theory, yep, that gives us our Zephirium. And now we are missing an input item. So maybe those drones are in the wrong slots? Oh, you know what? It's not that the drones are in the wrong slot. It's that we are missing our drill head. So we are going to start with, since we're using the drone, it's not the fluxed electrum head, it's the other head, right? Because, oh, it looks like we can, but we need pyrotheum to get the aluminum out. But aluminum is not our priority at this moment. Let's start with, we need lead. Lead is definitely a thing that we are running short on. So how do we get lead out of it? Zephirium and a steel drill head, or the drill head upgrade, which we haven't unlocked yet. Diamond, Invar, and Indirium. You know, we can unlock, I think, at least these two. Okay, so there is the diamond drill head, and there is the Invar drill head. Great, so we have all of those additional drill heads now. So now when we go to our list here and look at lead, lead should be able to be mined by the Invar drill head. And the Invar drill head looks like it's pretty easy. It's just blocks of Invar. I think we have enough to do that. And I think we have, yeah, this should be easy enough. Let me go make some blocks of Invar, and we will set this up. Okay, so there's our blocks of Invar, and with our iron gears, we now have our Invar drill head. Wonderful. So let's pop back over here. And I think this goes in the other side of the miner. So let's put that in there. And now, yeah, it's going super fast. It's actually going too fast because now we need to do something about the items that are being exported from here. So let's wire that into our system as well. Where did those cables go? Okay, so now we just need to give this an item importer. So to make an item importer, we need the input variable transformer, and we add that to an item interface, and that gives our item importer, not exporter, because we are going the opposite direction. So we put that on there, and we say import all items, And in theory, yeah, it should empty that completely out. That's exactly what we want to see. And if we come back over here to our, whoops, that's the wrong one. If we come back over here to the factory, we should see items being imported into our system here. So we should be getting more gold. Yeah, I see the gold's going up. Should be getting more silver. Yeah, all of these things are doing what they should be doing now. And ideally, we should see more lead as well, which has been the big bottleneck here. Yeah, see, there's a few pieces of lead coming in now. So slowly but surely, we are getting all of our ingredients out of that. So let's take a look at our new chain here of production. So the tier 5 crystals is the latest one, and that means we need to start with our arc furnace. If we look at these crystals here, crystals are made in the arc furnace by taking our iron ore and go ahead and smelt it in the arc furnace. That gives us iron crystal and slag. Now the iron crystals we then use in our crusher, and that's going to give us iron shards. So that's the second tier that we have there. Iron shards then get put into our induction smelter with our pyro concentrator using blazing pyrotheum and rich slag. Now, we do not have rich slag production yet, so we are going to have to work on that. Oh, and with cinnabar, we get rich slag out. How do we make cinnabar? And that's 4. Ooh, okay. So cinnabar we make with redstone. We don't have that. We don't have that. We don't have that. So fluid transposer with rich slag and gelid cryothium. And rich slag we make with lava. Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to start piping all of my slag into a spot that we can start using our fluid transposer on. But let's just get started with the arc furnace for now and work our way back. Now, we basically need an arc furnace for every single ore that we have in the game. So how many crystals do we actually have at this point? And I think maybe 10 for boron, but I think 9 for now is more than enough arc furnaces. Now, what do we need to make an arc furnace? I believe, yeah, we should have, we don't have a one-use capsule for it, but we have our regular blueprint capsule. All right. Arc furnace requires cauldrons, steel sheet metal, blocks of steel, redstone engineering blocks, light engineering blocks, heavy engineering blocks, steel sheet metal slabs, reinforced blast bricks, and steel scaffolding. Whew, that is a lot of stuff. Well, how many slots do we have left here? We have 5 for our autocrafting. I think we can teach this a few of our recipes here. That'll make that a little bit easier. Maybe we should at least try to teach it engineering blocks. Yeah, I tell you what, let's teach it how to make pistons and iron mechanical components real fast. And we'll also teach it light and heavy engineering blocks. Okay, well, I ran into a little problem here. I've made all of the ingredients that I need for the arc furnace, but it keeps saying it is missing a block of steel. I'm not sure how to fix this because I do indeed have 6 blocks of steel in my inventory. So the way that we are going to solve for this is we are not going to use our auto capsule to set this up. Instead, what we're going to do is use a projector. So let's go ahead and grab our Akashic Tome and we will look up our arc furnace here. Once we've looked it up, we can combine the book with our projector and it will create a projector for that item. So there we have it. Now we have a arc furnace projector that we can use. Now the question is, where are we going to put all of our arc furnaces? So I think to that end, I'm just going to go up. So let's put it down. Let's go 2-3 blocks over here and put it down here. Okay, now we are going to have to construct this manually. This is one of my least favorite things to have to do, is building this. Oh, that's the wrong block already. We are off to a bad start. But we will build this manually one way or another. There we go. And just keep adding all of these layers to it. Oh, where'd it go? Where did it go? Oh, there we go. We have to keep it in our hotbar. So put that there. That's not where it goes. And there. And then here, and here. Okay. And then it looks like, I can't quite tell, that there's slabs that have to go in here. That is a lot of sheet metal slabs. All right, and that one is also going to be sheet metal, right? Yeah, that's also sheet metal. Okay, and now that's funny looking. Okay, that is clearly scaffolding. We know that. And this, I think, is a cauldron. I think that's what that's telling me, is that the cauldron goes here. Oh, yes, and that was correct because it went up a level. All right, so redstone engineering block will go here, and our heavy engineering blocks will go here and here. Light goes there. Now we need to add these reinforced blast bricks. Like so. And we'll just put them here, here, and here. You know what I think's going on here? I think I know what the problem is. I don't think it's sheet metal. I think that is our steel blocks. Yeah, look at that. That's exactly what it is. Those are the steel blocks. Even though they look like sheet metal from what we can see on the side here. See how it's glowing when I'm putting these into place? The white outline, that means it is the block that you're holding in your hand. So that's what's wrong with that. And then our sheet metal just goes on the sides of that. Okay, getting close, getting close. There's our light engineering block. And then I think just the rest of these blast bricks. Oh, I feel like we have one blast brick that's in the wrong place somehow. Oh, it's that one. That one is in the wrong place. Okay. There. And then these are scaffolding, yes? Oh, and then more scaffolding. And last, there. Okay, so the green outline means we did it right, finally, after the third or fourth try there. And now what we have to do is hit it with our hammer. So our morphing tool should let us hit it if we can find the right spot to hit it. It's the only thing I don't like about these, is you never know where you are supposed to whack it. Click on the cauldron with an engineer's hammer, which is absolutely the only block I did not click on. So there is our arc furnace. Let's see if it gives us any other indication here. Energy is connected in input through the 3 connectors on the back. Inputs and additives are inserted through the 2 hatches at the top of the structure. Inputs to the left and additives to the right of the electrodes. Okay, great. So slag comes out here, power goes here, and then on top we have our various inputs. I really should probably just build a ladder up to the top of this thing. So yeah, there we go. So we've got inputs here and inputs here. Okay, so one thing it looks like I overlooked here and I didn't see mentioned in the pack is that we need graphite electrodes. And the only way to make graphite electrodes is with these hop graphite ingots. And these hop graphite ingots, of course, we have to make from graphite dust, which we can only make, as far as I can tell, in the industrial squeezer. I can't find any other way to do this. So we also have to make an industrial squeezer, and also we have to make a crusher so that we can crush all of our coal coke back into that. So, okay, so we first need to look up how to make an industrial squeezer. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and set this up real quick, and I will also go ahead and set up a crusher. Okay, so I've created another one of our projectors here so that we can assemble this squeezer multi-block. Okay, so I think I have all of the ingredients that we need for this in hand. Scaffolding is easy, if I can put it in the right place. Okay, and now we need our fluid pipes, our light engineering block, another light engineering block, a redstone engineering block, and 4 wooden barrels, like so. And now we need a piston, which I believe is upside down. Can I rotate that with a wrench? There we go. And 3 fences. There, okay, so this is all working, and now, again, we just need to figure out where it expects us to whack this with the hammer. And again, I think we need to change the hammer to the actual hammer. Further progression is required. Okay, so what do we need to do? I don't think it's the electrode alloyer. And here we are, it's biofuel. That's what unlocks the squeezer. So we need to go and unlock this real quick because I had skipped over it entirely, not thinking I would need it. It's kind of annoying that that is a requirement for this because it's not clearly indicated anywhere else that we would ever need biofuel for anything if we didn't want to use it. And there we go. At long last, now we can actually craft biofuel. Okay, let's see if it'll now let us. There, finally it lets us do the thing with the block. Okay, wonderful. So now we have an industrial squeezer. We need coke dust, and the coke dust we can only make in a crusher. So now let's see about the crusher. Back and the crusher. Okay. Oof, do we have a capsule for this? I thought we had a capsule for the crusher. We do have a capsule for the crusher. Let's see here. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, there we go. We have a fully loaded capsule. Let's turn this around and see if we can't get this in place. We have to clear out all this grass so we have enough room to place it. And let's do it, a little bit more room for logistics. Let's just bring it out a little bit. Okay, and now we just need to whack some part of it with a hammer. There we go. Okay, looking good. So this, I assume, needs to get power somewhere. This needs to get power somewhere. Okay, so here are our machines all cabled up now. So the industrial squeezer and the crusher. So we just need to bop over here and get a couple of pieces of our coal coke. Okay, so here is the crusher in action. We just take our coal coke, toss it on top, and immediately it will start crushing that into coke dust really quick. So now I'm going to take the coke dust here and see if it'll let me just, put it into the squeezer directly. Oh, but we need 8 of it. So let me go ahead and grab the other 4 here. We only got 1 each. 8 of it there. And it's squishing. And there is our graphite dust. Okay, wonderful. So I can then use this graphite dust and smelt it to make ourselves the ingots. And then the smelted ingots we can use in a metal press once we have 4 of them, or in our engineer's workbench. I might just do the engineer's workbench, honestly, just because that seems a little easier. We just need the arc blueprint, which is using 3 coal coke. Okay, great. Let's go do that real quick. Okay, our ingots are finally done, and now we can use these in our engineer's workbench. I made ourselves the proper blueprints. And with this in hand, we should be able to make ourselves an electrode. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and leave that in there for now. We're going to come back to it, I'm sure, momentarily. Now, if I hop up here to my arc furnace, I should be able to insert an electrode into it. Okay, there's the trick. You need 3 of them, not just 1 of them. So we will have to deal with that as we go. So I think, let's see here, the output that it said that slag comes out, is that here in the back? Let's find out. We can put a drawer on it real quick. Yeah, and that's gonna give us our slag. Let's lock that up just to be safe. And it looks like we're getting lead crystals really fast out of this. That's amazing how quickly it does all of these, because it's doing 12 items at once, which is wonderful. But it looks like we are full up on lead crystals at this point. So we need a place to store all those as well. So for temporary storage, I think we are going to just use our storage drawers. The next thing we want to do is take these crystals and put them into a crusher. So we need to build ourselves another crusher here. And I'm going to put that in this next row right in front of these. So it should come straight out of the arc furnace and right into the crushers here. But I'll give myself about 3 blocks of distance, so I'll be able to move things around a little bit. I just think that the crusher compared to the arc furnace is just so much easier. I was spending a lot of time and effort trying to get this all working properly, but now these, by comparison, yeah, crushers are just no problem at all. So let's go ahead and put that down there. And then we just need to grab back up our wrench. There we go, my hammer, and voila, there is my crusher. So items need to be routed from here into here, and I also need to bring my power over. Okay, there's my power into my crusher. We're going to take our lead crystals and start extracting those. And then all we need to do here is make sure that this knows to insert into here. So insert into the crusher. There we go. And, oh, they're popping out the side. So let's give it a place to put those crystals. Let's do this. And there we go. So it's going to come out of here and into here. Yeah, we can make the rich slag. So we need to start pulling all of our slag back to the spot where we've got our lava here and create rich slag off of it. But I want to consolidate all of my slag from my various machines. And I have 2 different types. I have this type of slag from immersive engineering, and I have the other slag from thermal, which is down there, and those machines I need to pull out. So I'm going to go ahead and set up 2 different setups for that fluid transposer with the lava real quick. Okay, so now we need to set up some fluid transposers to make our rich slag. And then we can put our fluid transposers into place. Now, the only trick is that these need 2 sides with our integrated dynamics cables. So maybe I'll do side and back here. And the reason why I say 2 sides is because we are actually adding items in 2 locations here. So let's go ahead and reset our configuration real fast. Now, we need to bring in slag and we need to bring in our lava. So let's go ahead and do our, let's see what makes the most sense here. Let's do our items on top and let's do our fluid on back. There. Okay. So now we just need to grab our programmer and some of our cards. We have a bunch of cards, which should be fine. And then we're going to have to make a lava card. Actually, we need 2 lava cards. 1, 2. There we go. Let's put those in. Export lava. Export lava. I think we just need to set the input on the back. Yeah, that's what we need to do. There we go. Lava. And now these need to get slag. So the next thing we do is take our interface cards and we make slag. And we're going to use 2 different slags here. So item, because we have 2 different slags, right? Depending on where in our system we are generating them. So let's take this slag, and then we want this slag here. And now we have each of our slags being handled. These are slightly different slags. So this one, we're going to export item here, and this one we're going to export item here. Now what we have to do here is tell it that we want to input on top, and it should get the matching slag, just like that. And these are starting to go already. We're getting a decent rate of making rich slag, so we're going to put that into this new drawer here. Pick that drawer back up and put it into our storage array. And if we rotate that around, we should see that it's already starting to get more slag in it. Perfect. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and put an emerald upgrade in here so it'll dramatically increase the amount of rich slag that we can store there. And now, because this is tied through our storage door controller back here, which you can kind of see, that means this is now accessible to our entire system the same way that the rest of these items are. So that is rich slag. Now that rich slag can also be turned into our next tier here with an induction smelter, is it? One of these lets us do, oh, there we go. There's Cinnabar. We grab our red print to exactly copy the setup of that machine for our inputs and outputs. And we just run our cables down here as well. And then we need a couple more of those interfaces real quick. So we do the same thing here. We've got item on top, so we do item on top and fluid exporter on the back. So we want rich slag in an item card, like so. Okay. And then we want cryothium, the fluid, the gel cryothium. There we go. And that is a fluid. There we go, like so. Okay, so if we take our fluid exporter and put that in, and our rich slag card here, this should get that out of the system right away. Input there, input on back, yep. Export on bottom. Perfect, and now all this needs is power, and should slowly get us our, oh, very slowly should get us our next level. Okay, so let's do that. We will grab our item conduit and put it on the bottom, and we will once again tell it to export on the bottom as well. If I can find where I put my wrench, there we go. So extract, oh, turn off on the bottom, there we go. Okay. So that'll be pulling that out eventually. And we're going to go ahead and put down our chest here and use, or storage door, I should say, lock that up. And we're going to put our rich slag in there, or a cinnabar. There we go. Okay, great. So let's pick this up like so and put this on here. And that should, as soon as this is done, pull out the bottom as well. Yes, and there we go. The cinnabar is now coming into the system. No problem. Now, we need to speed up how fast this is producing, so I am going to make a whole bunch of upgrades for this real quick. And there we go. Fully upgraded. And yeah, it looks like we're getting just enough power to keep up. So that should work pretty great for us, right? Okay, so I did go ahead and just double this just for the sake of having twice as much cinnabar being produced. That's going pretty quickly for us. Okay, so we plonk down our induction smelter right outside of where we had the crusher we just built. Put an item exporter on that. And this time we need to be a little more careful here about which goes where. So we want to make sure that it knows that only the extra item is going to go in that first slot. So now when we go and program our card with our portable logic programmer, we're going to give it an item. And in this case, we're going to give it our cinnabar. So that gets the cinnabar card. And now if we put this here, it should know that it should get cinnabar into that slot, which it's doing. And now what we need to do is tell it to make sure to insert items on the bottom. And we're going to put the, do you want to do it on the bottom? Yeah, we'll do it on the bottom. That's fine. And let's go ahead and rotate this around just a little. And that way we can export items from the right when we are done with them here. And now we just need to pull our shards out from the back. So let's go ahead and enable self-feed and make it always active. And you can see this lit up nicely. And now this should give us the next tier. I think we get dust out of this. Is that right? Or do we have to pulverize it first? Let's see. Ah, clumps. Okay, so these clumps we then put through the pulverizer with a tectonic initiator. And oh, is there another better recipe for this? Oh yeah, we can put pyrotheum in here as well. Great. Okay. So let's just rearrange this just a little. So we are going to make it so that it gets the pyrotheum upgrade. Let's see what we need for that. That's a thermal upgrade. And what is it? The tectonic pyro concentrator, is that the thing? Do we already have one of those laying around? I thought we made one. We did. Yes, we did. Okay, so we give it that upgrade, and now it has a fluid tank. And I think we can just put a fluid exporter on here and tell it to export our blazing pyrotheum. Yeah, there we go. And that's going to fill that right up. Okay, and that should give us even more stuff. So we put down a storage drawer here, one for our crystals, our clumps, sorry, and one for our slag. Our slag we're going to put into an item importer here because we want to import all of the items out of that. There we go. And hopefully, yeah, that'll clear out immediately. And then all we have to do here is tell this that this should always be extracting. And it should just pull those leg clumps into here as soon as we tell it to insert into there. There we go. Great. Now all of our lead clumps will be stored here. Now this induction smelter is not even vaguely keeping up with the speed at which we're making lead shards. So this we're also going to need to fully upgrade. And we are definitely going to need to have a bank of these, I think, to keep up here. Now we can take these clumps. What do we do with the clumps? Do we pulverize these? Yes, as described. We pulverize them, and this is where our tectonic petrotheum comes in as well. So we're going to need to make a pulverizer and a tectonic initiator. So I think we're just going to do exactly what we're doing already here. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. And then on the 4th spot, we will put down our pulverizer. I'm always giving myself 3 blocks spacing, or as close to that as I can remember to do, because that gives a little bit of room to maneuver here. Okay, so the pulverizer, as mentioned before, has the tectonic initiator upgrade. So let's make one of those, tectonic. And there we go, one tectonic initiator. We're going to add that into there, and we are going to rotate this around, and we're going to do the same general thing that we did before there. Have it facing us here, clear out all the inputs, and in this case, I think we're going to have probably exactly the same setup as this, right? So this should get its primary input from the bottom, and with the tectonic initiator, it should get its secondary input on the side. So let's bring our cables up and around there. Okay, so this then gets its fluid. We're going to give it the tectonic petrotheum there. So that's filled up there. And we're importing our items on the top and the bottom here. So this is where the lead clumps are going to come in. I just need to tell it to enable that. And then this one, we need to get the right wrench and tell it to insert on the bottom. Great. So that's going to crunch down. And the extra ingredient here should be if we're going to get any more dirty dust. So we're going to get dirty dust in both cases out of that. Let's go ahead and drop off our extra clumps. All right, see, there we go. Dirty dust, dirty dust. So the dirty dust that we're getting out of here is the only ingredient. So we're going to need to put that into a storage drawer. And then this goes into our redstone furnace with our flux anodizer. So we're going to add that in next. Oh, and it looks like I already have a redstone furnace left over. So I can actually just go ahead and put this down right here, clear out the inputs, insert on bottom. And we do need that flux anodizer for it. So let's go ahead and make one of those. Flux. And there's our flux anodizer, and we drop that in. And now that inserts on the front, and we're going to export on the right side. Okay, so we go ahead and grab our last storage drawer. We put it on here, and this should extract. This should insert. Don't mind that horrible noise downstairs of our metal presses being messed up. And, oh, the only thing here is this isn't pulling out yet. Okay, so we tell this to extract. No, wait, that's wrong. This is going to not extract. This is going to insert. This one is going to extract. There we go. And those clumps are going into this storage drawer. Now, the last thing to do is tell this storage drawer that it's part of this same flux network, the integrated dynamics network, I should say. Okay, so we put this in there and we say to import all items from this. Great. And we do want to lock this as soon as possible. So let's go ahead and grab that. Grab our lead ingots here. There we go. Okay, so now we have an basically infinite amount of lead. So we're going to go through here and remove these bottlenecks here, which allows us to get these lead shards processed a little faster by doubling up on all of these other machines and upgrading their fullest capacity. But for now, that's basically infinite ore generation right there. Between our infinity miner, and all of these pieces of the puzzle. So that is back here in our processing. That's that entire chain done. So we have completed everything here in this section. We still need to go back and do these two machines for the Electrode alloyer for our various alloys and our mega metal press. But otherwise, yeah, we are done with the fully upgraded processing. And with that, I think that's a good place to end this episode. So between episodes now, I'm going to go ahead and fully upgrade this setup, and I'm going to repeat this setup for all of our ores that we're using a lot of. I probably won't do it for every single ore, but at least the majority of our most used ores. I want to make sure that we have this setup duplicated. And that might mean that the mountain over there behind me might have to come down to make room for it. But we're going to do that between episodes, and we'll see you here next time when all that's complete. So thanks again for watching Enterprise Architecture, and we'll see you back here then. Bye, friends.